The legal battle over President Trump's proposed travel ban continues after a U.S. judge blocked the administration's latest travel restrictions. The ban, which was set to go into effect on Wednesday, was supposed to enforce the new restrictions unveiled by the administration last month. It would have affected 8 countries: Libya, Iran, Syria, Somalia, and Yemen, in addition to Chad, North Korea, and Venezuela. This decision comes after a federal judge held a hearing on 3 lawsuits on Monday over the president's most recent version of the travel ban. Joining me now from Washington, CBS News Justice reporter Paula Reid. So, Paula, break down the decision that was handed down today. What do you think this means?
The federal judge in Hawaii has temporarily blocked the president's most recent travel ban. This is the 3rd iteration of his executive order blocking travel from countries that the administration does not believe are capable of giving accurate information about the people who are trying to enter the U.S. Now, the administration has been sued repeatedly over each successive executive order, with people arguing that this is not just a travel ban, that this is in fact a Muslim ban that the president had promised on the campaign trail. As a result of all that litigation, the earlier travel bans were mostly blocked by the courts, tied up in litigation, were never really fully implemented. And just recently, just a few days ago, the Supreme Court decided not to hear challenges to travel bans 1 and 2. That left us with just the newest one, travel ban 3, and that has just been blocked by this federal judge.
So does it mean that the travel ban is now dead?
Absolutely not. The travel ban is very much alive. There's just a temporary hold, and we've seen this before. It's sort of like Groundhog Day with this travel ban. People sue, specifically out there in the 9th Circuit. The travel ban is temporarily blocked, and it will work its way through the federal Court of Appeals system. This will inevitably be appealed by the Trump administration to the Court of Appeals out there, to the 9th Circuit, and then ultimately, likely, they will appeal this to the Supreme Court. And there's a question of whether or not the Supreme Court will want to hear it. But, Rena, of the 3 executive orders on this issue that have been issued by the president, this one stands the greatest likelihood of succeeding at the Supreme Court, especially because he has carved out additional countries that are non-Muslim nations, but beyond, including North Korea and Venezuela. But beyond that, there's a slow, phased rollout. There are carved out exceptions. This is a much more nuanced executive order than the first version.
Interesting to hear you say that. So for immigrants and travelers from those 8 countries, how do you think that they might be impacted by this?
Well, there's a lot of different lawsuits right now pending throughout the courts. Many of them are based on just the confusion that all of these executive orders have caused for people trying to get their loved ones here, their spouses, their children. There's a lot of confusion about this. So there are lawsuits against all of the travel bans currently pending. But ultimately, for anyone from these countries who wants to come here, now would probably be a good time if you are not in any way prevented by lingering litigation from the previous travel bans. But at this point, travel ban 3.0 will not go in effect tomorrow, as it was supposed to.
So this, as you mentioned, was the administration's 3rd attempt at the ban. What do you think would have to change to get it back up into the courts?
Well, I think they're just going to have to fight all the way up to the court. This is just one federal judge. It's a low-level judge on the first level. We've seen this before. Previous district court judges have blocked this travel ban. It has been argued up the chain all the way to the Supreme Court that was willing to take the case, but they sort of gave a nod to the administration. They said, look, we'll hear this, but we're going to give you some time. Perhaps you want to revise some things. And the administration did that. They looked at what all these lower court judges were saying about what was wrong with the executive order, and they made changes. They said, look, this can't be a blanket ban. There have to be exceptions for students. There should be exceptions for people trying to do business. There should be a slow, multi-phased rollout. And yeah, maybe it would be a good idea to make this look less like a Muslim ban, to add some non-Muslim countries. So in this case, Venezuela has a limited ban on certain people coming from that country, and also North Korea. Marina, the other side of that is some people say, look, adding North Korea and Venezuela, that was just cosmetic. There aren't that many people who come here from North Korea, and the Venezuela ban, that only actually applies to a small group of officials. So, Marina, the other side still has a strong case as well at the Supreme Court to try to argue that this is indeed a Muslim ban.
Paula Reid for us in Washington. Paula, thanks for explaining this.